Yeah, back to you guys.
I would like to
Dan,
say something.
I need to wait. I let Dan talk. I need to check out. I want to hear hear his point on Russia before I check
Yeah,
out.
yeah. The Interestingly enough, before we got off the topic, I've never seen a more easy place to actually make a life. I'm an immigrant to Russia. Now I'm an immigrant to Russia, and I've seen so many programs to where the Russian government will help you get a house. I haven't seen a homeless person in like a year and a half. It's very strange. I'm not promoting Russia, but I've asked my woman, I've said, why is there no homeless people? That was one of the first questions I asked. She said, what do you mean homeless? I said, people that live in the streets. She said, why would they live in the streets? I said, because maybe they're poor. She would not understand the concept of homelessness. And it really hit me because it might not be the nicest looking place, but everybody's got a place, right? They got a dacha they can go die in if they have absolutely nothing. The young generation, I've seen friends, people like my age, who are buying their first houses, like in their 30s. Like it sounds like the American of 1940s, 1950s. If me and Ksenia have a child, the government will give us 500,000 rubles, which is like a couple $1,000s, which is like almost half the price of a house in my town. So there's a lot of incentive to be having a family, starting a life. A lot of people here are getting married like in their mid 20s still, which is very unusual because where I come from, you'll ruin your life if you get married in your 20s and start having kids, because usually you have to pay for debt still. um I'm actually in the process of starting to buy my own land and gonna build my own house. So I don't think I would be able to do that in America. And I'm doing this off of savings that I had from like 10 years ago. I think that the Russian society is a little bit different. I also wanted to talk about assimilation. If you come to Russia, it's not that the government wants you to assimilate, it's that you must assimilate. I can't communicate with these people unless it's in Russian, unless I behave right, because the rules here are completely different than they are in the United States and other countries that I've been in. I think that Russia, there is no immigrants. You just naturally become Russian. But that's my experience, Atreyu, on all these things.
Well, it's quite true, and it is impressive that if you have more children, you even have loans without interest. You have a really facilitate life, and if you want to go to the north, you even get the house free of charge in Russia. If you want to live on one of these cities in the north or in the far east, they even give you a plot of land, 2 hectares minimum. So it's amazing. Well, they did. The Russians has have as a young people. They have a very facilitate life. That will be a problem as well, because sometimes you have to fight for what you have, and I don't think the Russians are doing it. On the other side, the problem is that nevertheless, apartments are very small, and people tend not to have children. So this is let's not forget that Russia is also an aging country, and this is something they have been talking for a long time and haven't been able to change. But coming back to Western Europe, which is very interesting for what Dan was saying. You see, and when I was younger, the idea you would have in your life would be you would get out of your parents' house when you're 30, you'll start a family, you get a loan. It wouldn't be too difficult to get a loan, and you could buy your own apartment. This was possible. You would be paying it for 40 years, nevertheless. But it was affordable. Now they don't give you any. After the 2011 crisis in Europe, many countries went through this process. They don't give any loans to people anymore. They want you to go rent, because there are many. Because what happened was that with the 2011 crisis in Europe, the big money started investing in the real estate. You see, guys, and they don't want you to own your house. They want you to rent it. And we are also seeing this system where people are obliged to look for an apartment, and you can't find it. So you go to outside to the suburbs, but they're not building new houses. So it's getting very difficult to live inside of the city. It doesn't mean that you couldn't find a house at a better price on a small city, but it's also the pressure of society to bring more people to the city. And with immigration, that also goes to the big cities. It has been impossible for younger people to really find a better perspective in life. Finding a house, starting a family, those are things of the past. If you look at your parents, if you look at your most nearest generation, like me with 40 now, younger people, they immediately realize this will never be their possibility. This is not in their possibilities. And this is revolting. Of course it is.